Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Pop Culture Philosophers. I am Rockin Robbie Billups, and tonight we're continuing the show where we talk about a show we're getting tired of talking about, but we do it with a panel of guests that we never get tired of talking with. So if we could somehow take the conflict of that and I don't know, somehow coalesce it into a liquid form, free energy, y'all. It would be nonstop every day. Anyway, we're here to talk about She-Hulk episode 7. And let's bring in the panel. First of all, we got a Man Goat in the house. What is up, my man?
Dude, I am just so happy to be on this episode because this one wasn't so bad.
Jesus. Already starting with the bits, man. I love that, man. I mean, honestly, at first, I didn't even think you looked like a goat. I thought you looked like a court jester or something. I didn't understand the bit. I was like, is he Harley Quinn? I didn't know.
There's no good goat filters. I honestly, I'm gonna, this is a hashtag, guys. Hashtag get better goat filters, Snapchat. Get your shit together.
Yeah, get that shit together. Speaking of getting it together, we got Fable Abomination. What?
Abomineste.
Abomineste. That's right. You were paying attention to the background. My name was almost Today is Today. Because like I want that poster because I was like, that's the most true statement I've ever heard.
Right.
Today is today. And he goes, Emil Blonsky. Anyway, what's up, Fable? How are you doing?
Station. Doing good, brothers. Doing good. Excited to talk about this episode.
Yeah, hell yeah, man. We're all excited. Including Brooks. What's up, Brooks?
What's up? I just got out of my sweat yurt and I'm ready to go.
Hell yeah, you were hurting for a yurtin, right?
Yeah.
That's what they
Oh, by
say.
the way, I called it on the boyfriend.
Yeah, you did. You did, actually.
Yes.
Yeah. Brooks's life view is once again proven accurate. Don't trust nobody.
Several small victories will coalesce into a great one eventually.
That's right. Speaking of great victories, it's Steph. What is up, my man?
Station, guys. What's going on?
It's good. And I just noticed this. I just noticed Jelani's fucking name. It's still no Daredevil in the house tonight.
Yeah.
Look, kids. Good grief, man. 2 episodes. This could have been a whole hour. They could 2 filler episodes. Oh my God. Here we go.
All right.
I'm glad I'm here though. Good to see
Let's get
y'all.
into it. Okay. I'm tired of talking about this show. Not because now here's the thing. It's not that I'm tired of talking about a show with y'all. Could you imagine how much we could unpack every single week talking about, say, I don't know, House of the Dragon? Not trying to jump on that bandwagon, but our conversations would be 2+ hours in depth. We'd be questioning our souls, having a discussion about that. You know what I'm saying? Because we got deep on shit like Us. What would we do with House of the Dragon comparatively to She-Hulk? She-Hulk to me is like gathering every week to talk about the latest episode of Full House. Okay. It's like the message is right there on the surface. It's not trying to be anything deep. It's trying to do what it's doing. It has settled. This was a fun episode enough. It was all right. It was okay. It was an okay episode. I don't know what else to say anymore. So I'm just going to pass it off to Manny. Manny, what did you think about this episode overall? I thought it was okay.
It's like Jelani said, this is just like a piece of an episode. And again, not a bad thing. If like I think it was you, Robbie, said last week, if this was like a webisode, like we just tuned into the website and we got these little Easter egg filled things with man bulls and mutants and whatnot. But this is like supposed to be like prestige Disney Plus shit. Like we pay for this. And it's very disappointing. It's very, very disappointing. But was this a bad episode? No, I mean I smiled, I guess. The stuff with Jen and the group therapy stuff I thought was good. It was funny when it needed to be. I don't think any of the characters in here outstayed their welcome. But fuck, we need a plot. We need something on this show other than just tiny little day in the life segments, because this is MCU shit. Like Man Bull's gonna show up in the background in Kang Dynasty, and we're gonna have to have known that this shit happened. You know what I mean? Like, it's just fuck.
The connecting thread this entire episode, I just, like, this is what the show is. It is these little like slice of life. It's not even a slice of life. It's slice of a half of a life.
Yep.
It's like you know, like you mentioned once again what I said before, webisodes. Like if this was 10 minutes, that's enough story. That's enough to get to. But they spend so much time on so little, and I think the whole bit overall is the intelligentsia. We're going to be like, we're supposed to be wowed when we find out that Todd is the dude with the wrecking crew. The only one that wore a fucking mask is Todd. We're going to be like, we're supposed to be surprised. We're supposed to be surprised when we find out that what's the dude who dated her in this episode? Like that ghosted her. We're supposed to be like fucking flabbergasted that he's a part of it. And they're supposed to also, they expect us to really be flabbergasted when they reveal that Titania and Abomination are part of it too. Like, it's so obvious to me what they're doing. Everything is a part of it. Everything is in service to the one bit that the intelligentsia is trying to get her blood. Why? To create another one of her. Who? Is it going to be a her versus an Abomination at the end? No. It's going to be her versus Titania, but a hulked out Titania, probably the MCU version of the She-Hulk, Red She-Hulk, I should say. Like, that's going to happen. They've all been working together, and we're all supposed to be fucking surprised by that? Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, it's fucking mad. It's fucking maddening. This is a fucking punchline backstory at the end of a Joker comic. This is like, nobody fucking gives a shit, but we're forced to sit through it because, you know, they charged me an extra fucking $1 for the book, so I gotta read this shit. And now they charge me $6.99 for this month's Disney Plus, and I already done watched Andor enough, so it is what it is.
All right. Speaking of watching it in Fable, what do you think about this episode in particular?
This episode in particular, I enjoyed it for the most part. I liked the therapy stuff. I kind of like said, hey, I might want to watch a show like with this. Emil Blonsky doing therapy sessions with like third tier Marvel characters. You know what I mean? I think I tuned in for that for the last more, but
we could do 20 episodes of that Fable. We'd be pleased to talk about that for 20 weeks in a row.
But I enjoyed. This episode had the style that's been missing from a lot of the episodes. You know, the texting things, the camera angles. Yeah, like there was some real directing going on in this episode. Now, you know, whether you cared or not, you know, was it boring to you or you loved it, whatever is beside the point, but this is where it brought the style. I enjoy the jokes, but I gotta agree with you guys with the plot thing. They're dragging this thing, just dragging it, and it's like, is there even a necessity of a B plot when you're trying to do a sitcom? You know, I don't know, but besides that,
in a well-written sitcom, you can have an A, B, and a C plot. I've seen fucking Family Matters and Full House do this shit. I've seen it happen before. I've seen Arrested Development do it. I've seen My Name is Earl do it. I've seen How I Met Your Mother do it. I've seen fucking King of Queens do this shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, it can be done, but they can't decide whether or not this is a 40-minute legal comedy like Ally McBeal, or if it's a 20-minute fucking sitcom. Like Full House. It's like trying to do this midway thing. And thank God we only got 9. Jesus.
This week's episode was written by Zeb Wells. Fun fact, I know.
It was a guy. It's my dude.
Zeb Wells is actually doing a decent enough job on. He actually made me enjoy an Amazing Spider-Man AVX tie-in this week.
Oh,
which blew my fucking mind because he did not make me involved. Or whatever. I'm fucking
if you enjoyed one of fucking like 7 books, though, does that really count as doing an okay job? I mean...
Nah, it's still an inconsistent thing. I'm going to say this though. It sounds like I was trashing it. There are elements of this episode I like, right? Like Fable said, he liked it, but overall, it's just another fucking part of a. Like why? Like I don't even know what.
Yeah, they introduce new characters that are all silly. They're all silly. Every one of them is, you know, a joke, one note joke, and they do this, play with this for a little while. At first, they didn't have the emotional payoff. This episode had an emotional payoff, and I think the last
Yeah.
few kind of had a few emotional payoffs. But yeah, that's how it goes. Bit, emotional payoff, sneak peek of what's gonna, the villain or whatever, and that's it. It's over. So there's no depth.
Yeah, like, so what was this episode time wise? Probably like 20 minutes of actual time, right? Like, right? If you take out the 8 minutes of credits, right, for the 200 people that are overworked and still can't get She-Hulk to look right in bright light. She's like a gremlin. She's like bright light. She's like, no,
Her
bright light.
eyes are green. Like all of her pupils, the whites of her eyes are green. It's so, oh God,
We'll get to you, Jelani. We'll get to you, and we'll get to all of that.
Say the best for last.
Yeah, tonight we are. Brooks, what'd you think about this episode overall?
I liked it actually. I think it's probably the funniest episode they've done so far, which is I think that's the show's strong suit. It is pretty funny for the most part. Like not every joke lands, but I think this one probably the most jokes landed for me. Like it's like I've obviously been enjoying the show a little more than you guys, but I just thought this one was probably the most fun I've had with a She-Hulk episode so far.
Okay.
Just because of just the whole idea of her being at this weird retreat with the run by the Abomination with these like goofy ass superhumans. Yeah, I liked it. I liked it pretty well.
I really did like some of the new characters we got introduced to, and the whole idea, the premise of this episode was fine, but like this could have been half of a really solid 40-minute episode.
Yeah, it still feels like it's too short.
Yeah, like if this was a perfect prime moment to have, I don't know, like Pug go on another adventure with Nikki or something like that, right? And delve more, like they're trying to figure out more about the intelligentsia or something, right? And like thread it in and have this. At the same time, though, it was nice to have a story that actually kind of resonated, felt very true to modern romantic life, and focused on Jen. Speaking of focusing on Jen and a good solid romantic life, Steph, my man, what's up? I bet your Tinder's popping. What's up with this episode? What'd you think overall?
It was enjoyable, serviceable. I agree with everything that's been said earlier, from Books to Fable, Manny, Robbie. It seems filler, but it was enjoyable filler. The whole point or payoff of this episode was the reveal of why he ghosted her, but there's all this fluff in between to get to that point, So I don't know. It was fun. It was fun, but just the placement for me personally, I was kind of like, got 2 episodes left. Like, this could have done a little bit more to thread like the overall story along, but it was still enjoyable. It was fun.
2 episodes left to wrap this shit up, make it connect, and do Daredevil. And leapfrog. That's at least 10 minutes.
They did Daredevil already. That's it. You get
that little helmet flash.
Oh, yeah. So, all right. Speaking of disappointment and no Daredevil, Jelani, what do you think about this episode overall?
Fuck this show. That's it. I'm good.
Enough said.
Listen, guys,
That's your overall thoughts?
fuck this show. This is a waste of time show. You have wasted all of our times. Other than the time that we share here talking about stuff. I said my piece last week. I ain't put some phlegm in it.
Jelani's feelings on this show. You're like
Fuck
the
this
guy
show.
who when Adam Sandler does the bit in Billy Madison and he's like, "You have wasted all of our times. I award you no points. And may God bless her." So that's how Jelani feels about this show.
This shit is absolutely trash on every level, shape, and form. I hate the CGI. I hate the cast. I hate the writing. It was written by a dude this time, and I'm like, really? A guy wrote this shit? Oh my god! It's got all these rom-com songs in it for no damn
I'm gonna take
good
my camera
reason.
off, man.
It's got all this
They had a bunch of
bullshit. She got ghosted, and this is what the episode is of. Fuck this show. I'm tired of this bullshit. I hate cussing. I'm sorry. I apologize to all the children that watch this show. But I am sick and tired of talking about Mid and how Mid is living. And it's okay. We've said that for every episode of this show. It's okay. It's not bad, but it's okay. I can watch this bullshit. I watch Endgame, and I go from Endgame to Moon Knight to whatever's next. I'm tired of the shows. I'm absolutely tired of the direction Marvel is going. It is a terrible slippery slope that we have to not be excited or kind of okay about some stuff that Marvel does. Marvel got so much source material for all of us, every last one of us, that they aren't using it all. They don't use it at all. Don't even read books. They get people that read books and like have script doctors and people that if you want to keep interweaving your story, you can make these one-offs. These can be one-shots. These ain't gotta be a part of the Marvel universe. You just make shows. Shit, make a show. That's it. Make me laugh. Make me engage. Make me understand what a show is supposed to be. I am absolutely sick and tired of the mid that we constantly get on this show. And I'm out. Fuck this show.
You know, I'll tell you what, man. There was a time in our life where mid-grade got us through. Okay? You know, we didn't have $100 a quarter to spend at a certain moment in our lives, and mid got us through. So this is a show that could just get some people through, I guess. I don't fucking know. To me, like, Jelani, to point on something you said, like, I don't think I just got to say this for the sake of PCP, but like, just because a man wrote this episode doesn't mean anything to me. Like, right? Like, it's still a bad.
I'm just letting you know.
Still an okay.
Still a bad
I get what you're saying, man. I'm just saying, like, I'm not
blaming that men and women are the thing. What I'm saying is, everybody's complaining, oh, they're women writers. All the women writers make the writing bed and all this stuff.
I get what you're saying. You've said that.
You got a guy writer. You get a guy writer in here too, and he's crap too.
Yeah.
So
guys and dolls can both be crap. That's maybe one of the points of this episode. But I'll tell you this. This episode resonated with me a little bit on on certain ideas of, you know, we could talk about, it's all about being ghosted or whatever, but they legitimately dealt with that. That was cool. Like, I was watching this episode, and maybe I'm kind of burying the lead right here because we need to get into this later, but I was watching this episode. I was like, I know what it's like as an adult. And most people think that, like, once you're 30, post 30, you should, like, be married, found your one, and all that shit, right? That's not the case for fucking everybody, right? And so I know what it's like to be an adult and feel that still, like, I don't know, like, teenage vibe of, like, hormonal fucking excitement when you first get into someone and it's working out, right? And then waiting for that next fucking text and be like, should I text another? Should I text again? And all that kind of shit. So, like, I think it resonated a little bit there. I appreciated that it focused in on Jen, but overall, it's still just, this show is, it's like, I don't know how to say this.
If it didn't have She-Hulk in it, you would not watch it.
Yes, exactly. If it wasn't a Marvel show, I was trying to figure out how to say this without being insulting to anybody that likes this show. But this show does it in a very, like, the level of subtext on this show is the level of a fucking Mother Goose rhyme. Actually, Mother Goose rhymes go deeper. This is like Fisher Price, bruh. This is like the back of a Fisher Price tricycle level of fucking subtext. Anyway, I don't know. Performances, though, is where this episode stood out for me. Manny, what'd you think? What's a performance you want to highlight? There's a lot to get into. A lot of new characters that were actually kind of fucking funny.
I liked I'm gonna draw a blank now. The vampire guy, Saracen.
Oh, Serrano or some shit.
Yeah, I like that dude.
What if he actually is a vampire?
Did Steph just say Serrano?
Yeah.
His name's Serrano.
No, I like the vampire guy. I like the Jen is great and tasty. Like, that was just like fucking line. I was just like,
that might be my best line in the whole thing, because he goes and tasty. He goes, oh man,
somebody
that guy,
help me out.
He was like, someone help me out. That went too far. Like, that was so funny. By the way, I see all these people like, so this is like a tie into Blade. Vampires confirmed 100%. I'm like, no, he's not a vampire. He's out there in the fucking daylight. Like, y'all have never seen a vampire movie. If you think
He's
this dude's
a
a legit
daywalker.
vampire, is he the daywalker? Oh, then what's the point of Blade? Or maybe it's the thing that he has across his neck. Anyway, I'll move on. I digress.
I just love that this show is all about fucking cameos and teasing fucking cameos, right? It's like we're gonna put a hat box with the yellow Daredevil hat because it's springtime and motherfucking needs to accessorize, and then we've got this little Blade reference, and the other guy, the Matador, he's a mutant. Like there's just like little things like, oh hey, remember there's some shit about the MCU you like.
It's
None
brewing.
of it's here, but it's there. It exists.
Yeah. It's almost
know.
comparable to when we first saw Thanos at the end of Avengers, right? We all got excited for what was to come in the next 5 years.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. So Saracen, heed my words. That character is going to be a big deal in 5 years. So the CGI will get better on him, and Josh Brolin will play the shit out of that part. So I'm digging it.
I swear to God, at this point, I realize this. I want the Blade movie to be outside of the MCU. Like, can they just do me that favor?
Yeah.
Can they just not have it be connected?
That's
Like, Blade doesn't need to be a part of this. Blade doesn't need to be part of this. Like, you just somebody make a good Blade movie. Who gives a shit about the MCU? Nobody needs to care that Iron Man was there. Like, no, like just somebody. Like, God damn it.
Blade,
This
Did you
Blade movie's
hear
gonna suck,
the,
innit? This Blade movie's gonna suck, innit,
yes,
y'all?
it is.
The director
like,
just dropped out of
The director
it.
just left.
Yeah.
Oh my God, you're right. Like the director just left. Oh my.
And Mahershala Ali said something about like, you know, hating the process that he's going through for this.
Oh
my
my
God.
God.
Or this,
Something like
he
that.
didn't like the script. Apparently, there's only
Yeah.
like 2 action
They already
scenes in the
said it,
movie,
this
Something like
goddamn Sabaro motherfucker
Sir.
is gonna be the new Blade, man. I'm just gonna
they're
tell
already
you, man.
working
Like,
it in
don't get
there.
us-
Yeah.
God damn it.
Oh, see,
Anyway.
I think that they do this shit intentionally in these movies just to like Blade showed up at the end of the Eternals because a bad fucking movie. You know what I mean? We get these Daredevil teases because it's a bad fucking show. Venom
The Eternals was
too.
so bad. Like Mahershala Ali's like, I can say something.
Yeah,
I'm not going to appear on screen
Say
though. I didn't mind Internals.
He's
They don't-
honestly
Eternals
like,
is
I'm not
trash.
going to appear
That is
on
dog
screen
shit.
until I see a
Like,
fucking.
Eternals is dog shit.
Mahershala Ali is basically. I swear he's got. This is what's going on with the Ali
That's a
thing. He's
bigger waste
going.
of time.
I'm not going to show up physically on screen till I read a script. Like, that's what's going on. Like they
Oh.
still haven't given him a script that he approves of, so he's
Well,
just a voice.
What's fucked
Yeah,
up is
yeah,
they told the
right?
dude he was on Game of Thrones. They were like, "This is like an episode of Game of Thrones. You could be talking to Kit Harington," and that's how they got him to do the fucking voice role.
Oh
That's-
shit!
I thought
All
Jon
that
Snow
happened.
died. No, he got revived. He's a crow.
All right, I was reading some of The Crow earlier today. That's a good book, man. It's actually if you like Duo Shade. I talked to James O'Barr about Duo Shade for like 10 minutes. Most of that 10 minutes was spent bitching amongst each other about digital Duo Shade. So that was nice to actually bitch about it to someone who is as passionate about it. Anyway, Fable, what'd you think about the performances? Anything stand out for you?
Mil Blonsky is my favorite character in this episode, man. He seems like the only one that's emotionally stable. Everybody else is fucking crazy, and he's the only one who's got a level head in the whole
I kept thinking, he was like, man, he trashed New York. This is the same guy, huh?
Yeah,
He's learned a lot.
And then he's like, he's talking everybody off a ledge, and he's
Right.
actually like doing great advice. Like, when he was like, "Oh, you guys are too attached. You guys are mostly switch chairs,
Separate.
guys. Switch.
Yeah.
And you go sit in the freaking whatever corner, next to the chair, whatever."
Codependency.
They're like,
Codependency.
oh.
Yeah,
Getting a bit uncomfortable. Maybe we need to
right.
take a step back and separate.
Yeah.
Could you please go sit over there? Actually, it's
Like,
a bit uncomfortable.
You're glued to that thing, and she's like, "No, he was great in this episode. I loved his relationship with her. Their back and forths and stuff.
Yeah.
I felt like they really connected as friends, and I mean, if he's a villain, that would suck. I kind of like
He is a villain.
this turn.
Why did she get brought there on a Sunday? Because his ankle thing went because he
Went off,
went
yeah.
across an electric fence to stop his favorite chicken. Like, no, that's bullshit, man. He's part of it. He's a part of
What he
it.
called
It's
him
all
too?
part of it.
I
What do
think
you
he's
call
either
them?
part of it, or I think that Wrecker is there to get him to break bad, so that for whoever he's working for, so that he can be in the Thunderbolts movie.
It's all connected.
I hope he's in the Thunderbolts movie. They need to switch that shit up so
They don't know
badly.
what the fuck to do. They were like, no, because he doesn't have a shield, bro.
Captain
if he had a
America's.
shield, they would put him in there.
Everybody only can use guns and punch people in that fucking movie.
But one person can go translucent, and that is Brooks. Brooks, what did you think about the any standout performance?
I like the Porcupine Man.
Yeah, when he took off his mask.
Like, oh shit.
He's like, "What, am I ashy? Am I ashy?"
That should have been Blade in the mask, and he should have just killed the fucking
Surprise,
vampire guy just for the
Yeah.
last.
But the dude is not a vampire. He's literally out there in broad fucking daylight. Like, he's wearing his hood in the meeting, and so I'm like, okay, so he's wearing his hood away from the window. But at the end of the episode, he's out there in broad fucking daylight. There ain't no way. If they have vampires that just walk out in the fucking sun and maybe just slightly sparkle, I'll be so goddamn
I was
pissed.
gonna say,
Can Play just be its own movie? Can Play just be its own movie? Come on, man. Don't connect it.
there's gonna be different kinds of vampires. You're gonna have the sparklers. You're gonna have the dwellers
Yeah.
and shit like that.
Well,
you know?
for that matter, can you disconnect
It's
Ghost Rider
Disney.
and the
None of this
rest of the Sons? Just disconnect
Yeah,
those
any-
characters?
Any like brutally like horrific kind of
What?
property?
You
Can we
can't
just
put it on Disney. It can't be under a Disney label if it's got blood.
Logan
I'm really
was on
curious.
Disney
Marvel
Plus.
Knights version of the
No, that's
MCU.
20th Century Fox.
Yeah, but it's on
Logan-
Disney
Logan.
Plus.
Technically.
Well, they got away with that. Technically,
Steph.
yes. But no.
Oh,
what's a performance you want to highlight?
I like
Porcupine's a good one, by the way, Brooks. That was a really good performance.
Yeah, he was funny. That whole dramatic moment where he finally got the courage to take off his mat, and then everyone was like, "Oh, please put it back on." That's probably my favorite moment. But
Yes,
characters,
no.
I liked. No, I like the swashbuckling Matador and the man bull. The rapport between them, the banter, that was pretty funny. They're kind of reminded me of like Bendis Talk, like just two random characters always having a conversation, or like a Tarantino flick, going back and forth about some pop culture shit. But yeah, I enjoyed them the most. But out of the two, since Manny mentioned Man Bull earlier, I'm gonna go with the swashbuckling Matador. His costume reminded me of some shit that was in like Soul Calibur or something like that. A fighting game.
But the soul still burns.
Soul still burns.
Have you ever heard of
The man has been
pain?
defeated. The soul still burns.
They were funny, man. The entire like support group there was cracking me the fuck up. Unfortunately, they all work for the Intelligentsia. So this is all just a setup episode so that we can all be like flabbergasted when they reveal that it was all part of a plan. All this, every single thing that's happened to Jen has been leading her to this one fight against Titania, Red She-Hulk. What do you think, Jelani? Any performance stand out for you?
What Fable said. Emil Blonsky, he was great. He was the sanest person in the room. Jen was insufferable in this episode. She was so insufferable. Like, oh God, he didn't text me back, even though he left. He left in the middle of the night too. The second I turned around and saw he wasn't there, I've been like, damn, he gone already. Another one night stand. That's what that is. You treat it as that. You don't text it and keep texting it.
But it wasn't a one night stand. They had went on a few dates. There was a rapport building. If you've been ghosted before, no one likes that feeling.
Yeah, and I think Jen is meant to be 15 years younger than us, Jelani, so she hasn't learned that yet, man. Think about us at 25, 27. We were dumb as fuck. We still are dumb as fuck.
We still are
We were
dumb.
really dumb back then.
Really
bro.
dumb. Yeah, it's true. Very true. I get it. I understand.
And she's kind of. I was looking at it like she's kind of vulnerable because she's been not. It's kind of like the whole
she made a
celebrity thing that
breakthrough
she
in
doesn't
therapy,
know.
but this is episode 7, y'all. I'm sorry. This is episode 7 of 9.
You're right.
9. And then we
Yeah,
got
the
2
pacing
other
is-
episodes that may or may not have Daredevil in them. And Daredevil may show up and get leapfrogged in the face.
It was just for the
"Leo,
trailer.
see you for born again. Bye, motherfuckers. And he's gone. And I'm like, okay, all right. Your selling point shouldn't be, but Daredevil's gonna be in it.
And
You know what I'm
don't think that it's Daredevil
And
too.
don't-
It might be just
right.
Matt Murdock.
Matt Murdock.
I was just thinking of that. What if they don't
Probably
use the scene of him in the costume? What if it's just Matt
Yeah.
Murdock showing up or Charlie Cox?
They
at
showed
the
a
end,
whole
like-
clip.
or something.
What if they showed a
But
whole
yeah, what if they
clip?
don't use that?
Maybe that would be dumb as fuck.
It would.
Okay,
It
that'd be
would.
really fucking dumb.
Well,
but
It's
here's-
happened
Oh,
before,
what
though.
happened?
Well,
what if
It's
it's
happened
a,
before.
What's the next Marvel
What happened
show?
to Carrie Fox?
Secret Invasion. Daredevil's a Skrull. Jesus Christ.
Jeez, don't do that, please. Stop, man. You're killing this shit for me.
All right. For me, you guys named everybody in the support group. I loved having Wrecker come back. I loved having Jen
I forgot
force
about that
in a
motherfucker.
recap because we got to see him, that dumbass like Power Ranger villain scene again where
For
he's
him
like
tossing his friends at her,
yeah, like
doing
doing
moves.
all that shit, man. And he just jumps back like, what the fuck is going on there, man? But anyway, outside of that though, I want to say the dude who is Emil Blonsky's parole officer cracks me the fuck up because he's like, no,
Yo.
Jen, wait for me, and then he's like, I'm fucking out, like he's gone, like he's just scared to fucking go there. He's like, I gotta call fucking She-Hulk. You know what? The thing is, I bet he's the fucking thinker. This is how shitty the MCU is starting to get. He's the goddamn mad thinker. I swear to God, they better not fucking do that. And can we please get
I don't
played
think it'll be
outside of the MCU? Can it just be its own thing? Look, just bring Wesley back, whatever it takes. I don't fucking care, man. Have old man Blade train young Blade. I don't give a shit. Anyway, story.
That would be dope.
I liked the story in this episode. I thought it could have had, this one could have benefited with the B plot. It could have benefited like all the other episodes of being a little bit longer, letting more jokes be there that actually pop and hit. It has a weird pace because not every joke hits and it's so short and tight. Like, why is a random ass episode of Perfect Strangers funnier than this? It doesn't make sense, but they do. And they did that shit in a fucking cave with scraps. So, Manny, what do you think about this story in this episode?
You know, we're getting this like kind of mixed messaging in this film about like Jen understands that she's more likable, more charismatic, more whatever as She-Hulk, right? And that's nothing new. But how often are we gonna do this fucking song and dance of I want to be She-Hulk, but then I don't want to be She-Hulk. I'm okay with She-Hulk. I want to, you know what I mean? She leans in and then she comes back. It's tonally a little bit of whiplash, but I will say that it was a heartwarming, poignant scene. It works. It just feels like it's a lot of fucking waffling on this show. It like refuses to pick a lane, commit to it, and get us to a satisfying story. I can deal with a little bit of unsure footing in a show that's going to have multiple seasons stretched out in syndication. You know, I see where there's going to be adjustments that are made down the road. With this is 9 episodes, part of what is supposedly this grand master planned out fucking MCU experience, and it's frustrating to see that there's nothing here. If it's a rotten fucking cherry on a shitty Sunday that we've been calling phase 4. You know, nothing is tied together. Nothing makes sense. Everything is just being thrown at the fucking wall. And it's really, really annoying. And I'm not trying to sound like a man, baby. I guess a great time to be a geek, all that bullshit. But the truth is, we invested a lot of time and money in the first 3 phases of this shit. And for phase 4 to be so unfocused, so fucking scatterbrained, and this She-Hulk show to be, you know, this kind of what we're getting during this MCU drought is really, really frustrating. There needs to be story. There needs to be a hook. There needs to be something pulling us along. This is supposed to be prestige, world builded fucking MCU, and it doesn't feel like that. This feels like it's just disjointed DC bullshit. So that's what I think about the story. That being said, Fable, you are a man who sees the glass as half full, and I'd like to know what you think about this story.
like I said, I enjoyed this episode. I thought it had the most emotional payoff of any episode that's aired so far. She really broke it down why she feels how she feels, and I kind of wish she would tell the people who need to hear that, you know. But she actually let it out, and you know, and it was real good for her. But I can't disagree with anything you guys are saying. You guys are totally right. Like, you know, this thing needs to be a little tighter. It needs to be a little more focused and not so scattered. But I'm going to say this. I think you might have to be disappointed, Manny, because I think the goal is to create a universe in the app of Disney Plus, the Marvel section, right? Where we're going to have I Am Groot cartoon here. We're going to have She-Hulk, the Attorney at Law sitcom / whatever. We're going to have, you know what I'm saying? Like, they're trying to fill all these entertainment gaps. That's why you see people that love this show, right? You see people, I hear them all the time. Oh, I love She-Hulk. Great writing. When we hear complaining about the writing, and I hear people saying they love the writing. Now, I'm not with them. I kind of think it's all over the place. But the point is what I'm trying to say is I think they're doing this mass media shit. They're trying to cover all kinds of things. So, yeah, and I think
everybody. And
I think going forward,
get nobody.
I think going forward, you got to pick and choose what you're going to watch from now on, you know, as far as that's concerned. Because it seems to me that after Endgame, they didn't have the next phase, right? The Endgame is like totally definitive ending for all the 10 years of movies we've been watching, right? So you got to come up with this new thing that beats Thanos. Even in the comics, that's difficult. You can't even beat Thanos in the comic books, right? 25 years later, 30 years later, we're still talking about Thanos like he's the biggest, baddest shit in the world. They tried with Null and they fell flat. You know what I'm saying? But the point is that
I mean, he's no Dr. Doom or Galactus, but I get what you're saying. Okay.
I like this. I like the story of this episode, but the story of the season as a whole is just what you guys were saying. Just,
I like what you said, because maybe the biggest lesson is not just we have to choose what we watch. We have to choose what we cover here on PCP more carefully. Brooks, what did you think about the story overall?
I thought the story of this one was pretty good. I mean, it's a very self-contained episode, kind of like the last one was. You know, it's Jen going to do a thing, and hijinks ensue. Like at this point, I kind of know what to expect from the show, and this episode is kind of like it's what you should expect from the show. It's a comedy. It does feel it feels a little like it could use a little more like maybe we could use a little more development of the tertiary characters and such, but I don't think it's been doing bad as for what it is.
It's a sitcom, it's
a sitcom. It's like you don't compare like Full House to fucking Citizen Kane,
or Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
What does that mean, Brooks? You really honestly think I watch every episode of She-Hulk every week thinking this better be like Orson Welles' Citizen Kane?
It better be as good as Endgame.
It just better be as good as fucking Full House is all I'm trying to say, man. That's all I'm trying to say,
I never liked Full House, dude.
I would take if it was as good as I Am Groot. Fuck. All right. Goodness gracious.
I would take as good as... I was going to say Gilmore Girls. That's actually a good show. Speaking of Gilmore Girls, a big fan is Steph. Steph, why don't you tell us what you thought about the story overall?
It was fun. It wasn't, there's not a lot going on, but it was like a one-off. It seems like last episode and this episode were kind of, it was said earlier, but it was like split in half. If this was like a 40-minute episode, the first 15, 20 minutes could have been like the wedding. Then the next 15 minutes is them like, the little montage of them going on dates, getting to know each other. And then the payoff is the end of this episode. But it seems like they just were like, for content wise, they were like, split down the middle. And it was fun. But, I agree with everything you guys have been saying. There does need to be more.
We've watched all these shows and we go, man, it just feels like 6 episodes wasn't enough. If this was a 9-episode show, it would have worked. This is the time they did 9 episodes, and I just go, man, if this was like a 5-episode show, it would have worked.
It would have been, yeah, more focused.
A little bit more focused. Like, they can't, Marvel still hasn't figured out the pacing yet of the television show.
Yeah.
And I think that's the key there. Is like, here's the thing. They don't have a Kevin Feige for the TV division. Jeff Loeb was the Kevin Feige of the TV division when the Netflix show were meant to be part of it, right?
Right.
And they all kind of worked, and they all felt connected, and they all had a tone. We're missing that because now each show has a showrunner, but there's no overall. Kevin Feige's not there every fucking day in the nitty and gritty of these fucking shows on Disney
Worried about
Plus.
the movies.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So like, they need to have a Kevin Feige for the Disney Plus shows. They don't. Why do we love the MCU? The connectiveness of it, the continuity of the superhero universe. That's why we like it. And you can't just do that by being like, well, here's some dumbass villains that obviously we're not going to use Porcupine in an Avengers film, right? But we can build the intelligentsia up for Captain America New World Order, right? And that's what the whole point of this show is. Take Jen, her journey out of it. The whole point is to set up the intelligentsia, who are all these lame ass fuckers that we've seen this entire season. But the leader's their leader, right? There's going to be no Doom. I don't think they're going to introduce us to the Thinker. Maybe MODOK's involved, but that's a stretch even. I don't fucking know. But that's the next wave that they're going for. Leader, MODOK, the intelligentsia.
And that's disappointing in itself because I would love to see the Hulk go against the leader.
What do you remember
his
when
first appearance to be with her, you know?
Kevin Feige said, no more, for now, we're not doing a 10-year arc. We're doing 5 movie arcs. That's what we're kind of getting. The big thing they're building to is the multiverse saga, Secret Wars. But at this point in the Infinity Saga, they were leaning very heavily into the Infinity Stones and Thanos and all that shit. At this point, we're barely getting started into why we should give a fuck about a Secret Wars. Do you know what I'm saying? So I don't know. Jelani, what'd you think about this? I hesitate to ask. What'd you think about the story of this episode? Because I honestly liked the idea of her being ghosted and dealing with that and having to understand that the focus should be on her. Because when you're a single individual, right? When you're single and you're dealing with this shit, the focus should always be on you. When you're single, the focus should always be on you. That's your opportunity to make yourself the best person you can be. That's my thing I just want to say about that. Anyway, what do you think about the story, Jillian?
I was wondering why ain't nobody else getting no introduction but me, but that means I'm special. So thanks. Man, I mean, it's a fine story. Whatever. It's if this was like a 14 episode show or a 15 episode show, this is fine. This is an okay pace.
Cryo. I just want everybody. I'm sorry, Jillian, but I just want everybody to point out Cryo's fucking statement because that really cracks me up.
Yep. I mean, it had to be done. But it's a hot mess, man. Sometimes shows aren't going to be what you want them to be. And what I used to do is if I didn't like a show, I'd immediately walk away from it. I did that with Moon Knight. I don't even know the last episode. I don't know what happened in that last episode. I have no clue. But that
bullshit is what happened.
It got better.
This is how it ended, man. This is how it ended. He goes, on Moon Knight, mate. That's what he did. Put up your dukes on Moon Knight. We're Moon Knight.
I'm punching down.
The Jake Lockley thing was cool to me.
They did this whole post-credit scene, Jelani, where at the end we realized there was a third personality, and I'm like, "That's your fucking post-credits? We already fucking knew that from the goddamn beginning."
These are being designed for everybody, though. That we gotta bear in mind that. If you've not seen Moon Knight, She-Hulk, they're being designed for people's first introductions to these characters.
Well, I feel bad for them.
What? That raises a good question. What the fuck? I mean, we know the post-credit scene, but what the fuck did happen in the last episode of Kaiju fought? I remember that. It was fucking like a giant Khonshu and a giant fucking...
Do you see how bad Moon Knight is?
I was thinking about this, man. I was thinking about this earlier, so I was like, okay.
That's bad.
So there was a moment, like the Ultimate Universe, when that shit first started. we were all like, oh man, it's like ground floor, fucking connected. Like we're able to go into it, and like we were loving the ultimate shit. And then they got to the point where we're like, they've gone too fucking
Too
far.
much continuity. Yeah.
They've gone too. Now it's the continuity is now weighing itself down, right? Like I feel like that's what's happening now because we now live in an MCU where there's a giant fucking celestial statue sticking out of the Arctic Ocean. Nobody's goddamn talking about, right? And I don't know, fucking Moon Knight, goddamn turned the universe back like 6,000 fucking years, and everybody fucking saw it. And nobody gives a shit. Like, what is up with that, man?
I mean,
Jesus fucking Christ.
That sounds like Marvel now, you know?
Yeah, he just became the Harvard
She gets covered in goo.
It just makes shit like She-Hulk at a wedding less impressive is all I'm trying to say.
It's so bad.
Jason Aaron just made him like the Avatar of Phoenix and shit. He was taking out everybody. Like,
did they throw that Eternals Easter egg in there just so they could say, okay, like, is this the junk pile? Like, is this the junk pile? Is this the MCU multiverse where they put all the projects that don't work? They're like, oh, fuck, we got to file this with the Eternals. So
like,
then they put
my
that,
bad. You're right. She-Hulk fucking covered it on a web fucking page. My bad. We were all supposed to notice the important idea of that. Anyway,
we all remember the shoes. The shoes had a fucking payoff. The Eternals thing had no payoff, but the fucking the Iron Man 3s, when they talked about that in the little ad, we all remember that for the fucking shoe episode. They haven't done shit with the Eternals. I hope the Eternals show up. I hope that happens. Fuck,
I haven't read Hickman's Avengers run, but were the Celestials a big part of that incursion shit?
They were to a point, like a little bit, but the incursions were outside of them, right?
Right, yeah,
so all the shit leading up to the incursions was the important shit where Doom faced down those fucking Celestials in the pages of FF, and he's like, I've always been a vain fucking man, and perhaps it's the reason why I will die today. Bro, that's some good shit.
What if they introduced Doom in the MCU as God Doom, like from Hickman's MCU? And
no, because you got to have the build up to that. You don't start him off as a god and then like bring him down below that.
But that would show he's a man who's always trying to aim for something unobtainable. Like Doom is never satisfied. Like he's always trying to.
Never going to hit that, bro. That's like
exactly
Secret Wars, the original, right? Even the original, where he first stole the power of the Beyonder, was like the culmination at that point of like 25 years of Marvel history. Okay. That was the culmination of him stealing the Surfer's power, stealing every fucking cosmic being's power that he fucking could. That was the culmination of decades of that. You can't start with Hickman's, which was the ultimate culmination of that. Now, actually, every writer doesn't know what the fuck to do with Doom after God Emperor Doom, because what do you do with them? You know
Infamous Iron Man was kind of cool for a minute.
Oh, that's what you do with him. You make him fucking Iron Man? That's stupid as shit. He doesn't have that connection with Tony Stark. He has that connection. He would, before he would ever become the next Iron Man, he would try to become a better Mr. Fantastic. I guarantee you that.
Yeah.
With the Fantastic Four gone, he would have tried to be the best Mr. Fantastic, not the best Iron Man. That's not what Doom did. There was like, what? Because Doom and Iron Man went to the fucking King Arthur fucking shit, and like that was cool, but like that's Doom's arch enemy is not Tony Stark. They're more alike.
Yeah, it's Reed.
Right?
Yeah.
You know, it's Reed, right? He would try to be he would have tried at that time, if you really wanted to get into it, Bendis, I'm sorry, I know you're over there in the fucking West Coast, and maybe you can hear me, but like at the time, Bendis would not have tried, Doom would not have tried to be the better Iron Man. He would have tried to make the better Fantastic Four. That's what he would have tried to do. Like Doom's always tried to prove that he's better than Reed, because Reed was the one that told him your calculations are fucked up, and they were. Right? Like, I don't know. Where are we at?
Something better, somewhere better than the show.
About story, right? Everybody's okay. Yep. Special effects. This is why I love this show. We're easy to talk about anything more than She-Hulk here. That's what I'm saying. Anyway, everybody needs to read Pink Lemonade. Go get Pink Lemonade. That book is fucking awesome. I couldn't find it. Bruh, you can't find it.
That cover is badass.
Yeah, I went to a shop today and I couldn't find it.
Yeah, that's some bullshit, man. You should be able to find it. It's a good book. Well, I don't know how many copies. I haven't been there for a couple of days. Manny, Special effects. Any better? Any worse? Same?
It's the exact same. I mean, most of the other guys were practical, so that helped. You know what I mean? But She-Hulk still looked like She-Hulk, and that's unfortunate as fuck. So
They show them how it's really done.
That's right.
We're going to use good CGI.
There you go. He's already prepping it.
I have no idea. Let's go. Here we go. So
Yo,
I
is that a
could,
cow
I
chicken?
could. It's a cow. It's a goat chicken. It's a goat
Yo,
chicken.
oh shit!
Where's
That
the Prius? Where's the Prius Prime?
There's no fucking filter for like a man bull on Snapchat. There's no filter for fucking She-Hulk, but this thing exists. This fucking chicken goat. So if we need, so honestly, guys, we could sit down and we could share our feelings. We could talk, because we all have that we all have that friend, that friend that's just they're more popular, they're better, they people like them more, and you don't understand why. And I could turn into that person at will, but it feels like cheating. Like I could go from this.
CG is really good.
From this to this. Right, and everyone would love it.
He just found another goat. That's what he did. He found another goat. Look at that.
I just did a Snapchat search for goat. There's a shit pot of goats.
I was surprised you haven't shown up as Tom Brady yet. So.
All the Tom Brady ones are just like they're like stickers under the eyes. And while that is engrossing television, I don't
better
think
CG than She-Hulk, man.
It absolutely would be. Absolutely would be.
So what did you think about the CG?
I thought the CG was the exact same as it's been. Okay. All right. So I'm not about beating dead horses. Because I like horses. So
you got a dead horse bit?
No, I don't. It was gonna say
I'm ready for next week because that's what we're gonna be doing.
Yeah, no, it's the same shit. It's the same shit, and I feel bad, beating up on something that has this. I should expect this. But just because somebody pisses on my face every fucking day doesn't mean that I should enjoy getting my face pissed on every day.
You need to talk to Larry Flynn about that, my friend.
You know what? That's true. That's true. So that being said, that sounded wittier in my fucking head.
I'm just going to say, a quick disclaimer before we move over to Fable. Here at PCP, we are sex positive. And if you like being pissed on in the face every day, we are cool.
We don't sex
that,
shame.
Man.
Yeah,
exactly. No kink shame in here. Fable, whatever floats your boat. What do you think about the CG?
Yeah, like Manny said, it's the same stuff. It's not really that great. Somebody here has said it a few weeks ago that when they close in on her and they just focus on her, it seems to be the best use of the CG. And the part where she's breaking down her feelings and why she feels the way she feels, I thought was probably the best CG in the whole episode because her emotions came through on that, and that's real difficult to do.
They were cracking the whip on those motherfuckers for that one, man. I'll tell you that.
But what, mediocre? That's what I would say. Mediocre CG.
Mid.
Yeah, mid. There you go.
Speaking about mid grade, Brooks is always happy when he gets mid grade. Brooks, what do you think about the CG in the clip? Sorry, was that too real?
That's supposed to be an insult, I guess. It's fine. I mean, this was another not really CG heavy episode, so who gives a shit?
It's not CG heavy. She-Hulk's in like half this fucking episode, bro. 2/3, actually. It's not CG heavy.
I think so. It's all right. I don't really care about CGI.
But you just don't even know. Like ever since you first saw Mr. Rogers with the fucking puppet, you were like, "Whoa!" And he's like, "That's how you've always been." And I appreciate that, man. I really do. I just appreciate that.
I still wonder sometimes what does Oscar look like below the garbage can.
I just appreciate that non-jaded, youthful fucking appreciation for just the magic of Hollywood.
Suspension of
I do. Yeah,
Disbelief.
I love it.
Complete.
Speaking of the magic of Hollywood, Steph, what do you think?
I actually thought it was worse. In the one scene where she was in her office, that really stood out. That just looks so. I've personally have not picked apart the CGI for a whole season, and I thought that one particular scene was very jarring. But I think there was a cool scene where she like hulked out, and in the support group when she saw the Wrecking Dude was there, and then when she like transformed back into Jen, I thought that was done well. But beyond that, it was all right. But for how much she didn't do as She-Hulk in this episode, I feel like that one scene in the office shouldn't have been so glaringly bad, and it was. I was like, Jesus Christ, this is what these guys have been talking about last couple episodes.
Yeah.
But it's very up and down, but serviceable. I try to stick on Brooke's side of things. I try not to let bad CGI or anything get in the way of what the overall goal of the show is. But can't say I didn't notice a few bad spots, but the transformation into Jen was cool.
Speaking of bad spots and hopefully a good transformation to come, Jelani, what'd you think?
I mean, it was the same. It's the exact same. You're right, Steph. It's that one scene in the office with that new suit and her hair pulled back. It looks awful. It looks like cartoon.
It does.
It looks like video game.
Video game.
And I'm like, she's like with people in bright light. And like they've done that before with the Hulk. They know how to make his dimensions look right. It looks great in Thor Ragnarok. I was watching a YouTube video and they showed a clip of Thor Ragnarok. And I looked at how good Hulk was made in the light and the shadow. He looks like he's there because guess what? They had more time to do this stuff. And if you're gonna make a She-Hulk show and you want the same quality as the Hulk, put some time into it. You got to put some time and effort, give these folks some rest, cut out some of these shows. They don't have to be coming mile a minute, but it's the CG because they're overworked. We've talked about it every week.
But it does have to come a mile a minute. That's the problem.
And it's terrible. Yeah, and it doesn't.
I saw someone earlier had said that we're kind of proving why they can't make stuff for everyone. Like we're fans as well. We're allowed to critique something that we're putting our time and energy into, even money as well. So
we've watched this over a decade, and you just cannot believe the impact it's had on everyone. I mean, I own all these Marvel Legends, man. I mean, it's
right.
You probably got a She-Hulk or two.
I got a lot of
and they're talking about general audiences. We're not general audiences. I don't think anybody in this chat is a general audience. I think we're fans, super fans.
I think I'm a goddamn general audience, man. I'll tell you what, dude, you put something in front of me, I'll try to watch it. I want to watch it. I want to like fucking content. I want to like fiction.
That's not true because you wouldn't have watched this show in particular if she wasn't in it.
This is what I say about this show.
You definitely, we all homed in on the fact.
I mean, it's just because I'm a backlog bro, man. That's all. It's because I got so many shows to catch up on, man. Come on, why you gotta call me out like that?
It's never ending.
If I was caught up, if I was 20, I'd be on board, man. Come on.
What's fucked up though is you'll have like 20 shows you need to catch up on. You'll have a free Sunday and watch fucking Arrested Development again.
Rewatch,
that's my problem. Every single time.
That's what I do with It's Always Sunny.
That's not a problem, man, to rewatch something that you like.
Yeah.
I feel called out by this episode and by you.
Wow. My bad.
No, I'm just kidding. CG. So, yeah, it is what... the CG was worse in this one because everything was so brightly lit, right? If I'm the She-Hulk showrunner, I'm going to want to know, all right, before we even get started, I want to know what you can give me CG-wise. Show me. Then I would watch it and I'd go, okay, every She-Hulk scene needs to be at night or in a dimly lit room. That's what I would do because that's where it works. Like the scene in the bar, the scene where she's fighting the fucking demons in the Donnie fucking. I almost said Donnie Darko, the Donnie Blaze fucking episode, right? Like those scenes look good because they're like that's what happens when you got to use CG. Like you got to like kind of use the lighting. There's so much of this in bright ass light. She's got a corner office. She's at a wedding. She's at a fucking retreat, right? Like there's too much like that it doesn't benefit the CG because it doesn't get to hide anything. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And it's so CG heavy because of that. And I feel like it just feels a little bit rushed, but it is serviceable. It's video game like, you know, to me, like if this was a video game, we'd be cool with it, I guess. I don't fucking know. How do video games look nowadays? The last one I played was on the N64. Donkey Kong 60. I'm just kidding. The last one I played was on the PS3.
TMNT NES.
The last new game I played was on the PS3, man. I'm not gonna lie.
Proud
That-
of you.
Yeah,
I was gonna say,
I was into
expecting
MLB The Show. You had to get a PS3, and at
okay.
the time it was the cheapest Blu-ray player I could find that had 3D capability. Anyway, that since has long died, and I don't have that anymore. So now it's time to get to the ratings. Out of 5 possible you digs, and some may say that the you dig has slipped into its.
I like that.
Right?
That's good. Flip.
I disagree. I think the you dig, the slip, and the backlog have always been near comparable. We always just like to nitpick this bullshit.
They
You know what I'm
inflation
saying?
proof.
Yeah, it's
I think the
mostly me.
you dig is going to be very strong. Just like the dollar now, it's a little weak, but overall, in the history of the dollar, it's been very strong. And in the history of the you dig, I think it's strong. So out of 5 you digs, Manny, what do you give episode 7? Goddamn 7 of She-Hulk.
Episode 7, goddamn 7. God, I feel like it's I don't know, man. I feel shitty because I bitched about it for like the last hour, but it's still probably a 3. I mean, it wasn't. I don't hate myself for watching it. I just hate that this is the best I got. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't. You know, it wasn't like it didn't irritate me as much as I let on in the show here, but it's still fucking bad. So I'm gonna go. Fucking, I don't know, 3.
Okay. 3 with a question mark.
Yeah.
We'll allow that. I guess the you dig has slipped enough that we can allow a question mark at the end of it. We won't do a point whatever the fuck you want to do like we've done at Dylan's Horror Show. I just want to know that shows the slip falling in currency value. Okay, I just want to say that. I just want to comment here. No. Slapped in American, you can critique our critique as much as you want. That's the joy of the internet, and that's the joy of talking freely.
Marco!
Like, that's what we love. The only thing we don't
I'm gonna
do,
speak
though,
to Slaptain. I'm gonna
only-
speak to Slaptain on my critique
Okay.
of the episode.
because the only thing I want to say, and the only thing we don't allow here is kink shaming, because we're sex positive, and if you like being pissed on every week,
Be free.
Yeah.
that's your fucking
Yeah.
business, brother.
Yeah.
Or sister, or gender resistant. Fable, what do you think out of 5 you digs?
I'm gonna go with the same grade I probably every week. It's 3.5 you digs. It's just average, decent, entertaining episode. I'm not like, you know, everybody where I have to have continuity and everything. I really don't give a shit. And as a matter of fact, we've all talked about taking shit out of continuity to maybe make it better. So I don't really care about that stuff. It's what you guys are saying about it's got to be good because we've seen this idea before done better.
Mhm.
And with
Yeah,
Marvel's
McBill.
resources,
Source
with
material.
Marvel's resources, it should be better.
It's not hard
You know?
to
And
pick up a comic book.
yeah, and you
John
know,
Byrne did it better.
Yep.
I could be general audience too. I watch things that I don't really care about, or would particularly have watched if somebody didn't tell me, or I wasn't with somebody who was already watching it. And I've come out of those things liking them or hating them the same way. Good is good, bad is bad.
As long as no one's
Right.
attacking you for what you like, then
Right.
it's whatever,
Right.
you know, like
Yeah, so you know, I think what happened here is that we got this She-Hulk attorney at law title, and we all built this headcanon in our heads because it's like, oh, she's gonna be her lawyer tip. Oh, John Byrne, and I think we got all this, you know, headcanon in, and they did something else, and it's disappointing to some people, not to everybody, to some people. Especially if you were a fan of the comics. I think you were going into that thinking they're going to pull from there. You know what I mean? So
Right.
that's why when I say we're super fans, we're not generals, because we've read these comic books. And we're coming from there to watch this. Like, oh, shit. You know what I mean?
I tell you what, being on the John Byrne thing, like, obviously I'm a big John Byrne fan. I love his She-Hulk version. I love his sensational She-Hulk. I love She-Hulk in the Fantastic Four. And the biggest crime in this entire thing to me is I have not gotten a single John Byrne Easter egg. Have you? Have you noticed John Byrne's name being used at all? But this episode, we got Dan Slott's name being used for the Slott Towing Company. And Daniel is the name of the dude that's running it. And I'm like, I get it, Dan Slott, that's cool. You cannot have She-Hulk without John Buscema and John Byrne. Like, you cannot. You got to give those two props here. You do not. Dan Slott doesn't have a goddamn chance without those two. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, but this series has been burning fucking MCU fans each and every episode. So I mean,
are they burn victims? That's what John Byrne used to call a fan club.
Burning.
But yeah, I think that overall, I think people just, built up this thing in their head, and it wasn't what they wanted. But for what it is, it's okay. And I could see a lot. Like I said, my wife would love this show. She would love this show. And you know what? She might pick up a comic book. I don't know. They say sometimes that happens. You know what I mean?
Pick up a John Byrne comic and be like, damn, that She-Hulk show actually sucks.
Right. From a guy who spends ridiculous amount of money on comic books every week, you know what I'm saying? That's where my lens is at. That's where I'm attacking these movies or the shows or whatever. It's not living up to what I wanted in the comic books, and that's okay. But it mid, just like Jelani said. And that's sad
all night is
because it's
slapping
Marvel.
Americans comment there. That's ridiculously funny, bro. You should write for comedy. I'm just gonna say that. They respect Byrne too much to reference his run. They are referencing his run just by She-Hulk breaking the fourth wall. Right? Yeah. There you go. Slott didn't do that first. That's all. There's this. The only thing I want to say, and this is my old man curmudgeon shit, but like, comics existed before 10 fucking years ago. Yeah. And everybody's like, this is the first time this happened. No, it's not. They did that fucking 25 years ago. Just go back. And now I understand what everybody was telling me when I was 20 years old, loving all my new comics in the early 2000s. It was like the ultimate.
They just recycle shit. Yeah,
exactly. It's all just the cyclical nature of shit. And as old as you are, is your tolerance for the repetition, I guess. Brooks, what do you think overall? 5 out of 5, you digs. What do you think?
I'd probably give this one a 4 too, which I think I've given like every episode of this show so far. Like, I think like I just kind of accept this show for what it is, and just so I just enjoy it, as what it is. I do have some issues with it, but it's nothing major. Like I don't hate it.
Right.
It's like I'm kind of the character. I'm kind of I'm liking the characters, but I just wish they would do more with them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, overall, I think the show has been pretty consistent, if nothing else. What do you think is like, bad, good, bad, or mid? It has been consistent for the most part.
It's been consistent. If you've been smoking mid for 20 years, man, it's still the best thing you've ever smoked. You know what I'm saying? Steph, what do you think?
Yeah. I'm gonna. I think Fable said it. 3.5. It was more or less the same what we've been getting. It wasn't bad, but it was fluff for the most part.
All right, ain't nothing wrong with a little bit of fluff every once in a while.
Gotta have the fluffer.
Yeah, you gotta have the fluffer.
Shit, you remember when we got episodes back in the day that were clip shows of the episodes that were before, and they snuck that in as an episode?
Yeah.
Animated
Robotech does that.
But how many great episodes did we get that were parodies of that shit? I think of Clerks episode 2, the animated series for Clerks. The second episode.
Community did a good one too.
Community did a good one too.
Community animated
stuff that wasn't in any of the previous episodes.
Hell yeah. But you're right, man. It could be worse. They used to have to do 25 or 26 of these motherfuckers, 45 minutes long.
They should make the last episode of She-Hulk Eclipse episode.
Manny can agree with me on this, but any true Star Trek fan can't complain about filler episodes too much.
No. Well, but the problem. I think the problem with She-Hulk is that it's named fucking She-Hulk. If we were watching Jen, Attorney at Law, and it was a middling fucking series about the misadventures of Jen, we'd have no problem. But this whole argument that the fucking show is mass market, it's not for us, bullshit. You named it fucking She-Hulk. Disney could have named this show fucking anything else. They named it She-Hulk. They put it in the
Marvel's
MCU.
Attorneys at Law or some shit.
They put it in the fucking MCU. It's for fucking MCU fans, so it should feel like the MCU. I Am Groot is not part of the MCU, really. I mean, it's a kid's show, right? This is supposed to be.
Why you keep bringing that one up? Did that hurt?
Because
you?
I fucking I like that because I like that show. And when I have to sit through goddamn League of Super Pets again because my fucking kids like that piece of shit, I'm going to remember I Am Groot exists, and that's what I'm going to be pushing in front of them because that was a halfway decent cartoon. But it's fucking She-Hulk, Attorney at Law. My wife doesn't know shit about She-Hulk, but her first thing when we watched this was, does she ever do any fucking hero stuff? Like, she fought like Titania once and then again like later on, but she didn't do shit superhero-y, nothing MCU-y. So that's the fucking problem. This would be if this was Hannah Montana, Attorney at fucking Law. Disney wanted to capitalize on some nostalgia and make a fucking show, that'd be fine. But you made this for me. I'm allergic to shellfish. If my wife makes my birthday dinner and she's like, "Here, honey, it's fucking lobster," I'm gonna feel fucking slighted, and I should be allowed to feel slighted when you. Anyway, sorry.
And you should be allowed to go on YouTube and bitch about it. And if you come on my show and mention Hannah Montana, you have to understand that I'm going to go, life's what you make it, so let's make it rock.
I meant to say Lizzie McGuire because that's my jam. I don't know shit about Hannah Montana.
Have we ever got truer lines in a pop song? Life's what you make it, so let's make it rock.
Never.
So stop doing shows about She-Hulk. However, we're committed to this fucking bit.
Commit to the bit.
Commit to the bit.
Everybody's given their number, but Jelani, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is it me?
Okay, Jelani. I'm begging to hear you because when we are out negativing Mr. Negative, that's a big to do here. So,
to be honest, this show would have been canceled if it was on cable or TV within like 2 or 3 episodes. Maybe 2 or 3 episodes. This has been gone. We wouldn't have seen the rest of these shows. We would have got this in a box set like 10 years from now, back in the day. That's how mid the show is. Like if they put this on ABC right now, 7:00 Thursday night, prime time, and you showed this show for like 3 episodes, you ain't gonna get your crowd back. I promise you that. I know it's mid. I know it's 3, but because of that fact, because you know good and well, Disney, that you have a property, that you have all the source material, you have all the work, you have all the time, you have all the effort to get out, and you don't do it, and you want to make that money, and we gonna show up to it. We gonna show up to it. Just do it. Yeah, I want my money back, Disney. I don't watch The Mandalorian. I don't only watch your Disney Plus for The Mandalorian. That's it. That's why not when I buy Disney Plus, I cannot wait for the next episode. Okay, because you made it. You nailed it.
I will say Jelani was rather pissed about this whole thing. He was like, "This show better be worth it because I'm paying for this, and The Mandalorian's not going on right now."
Yeah. It's the first thing I said, wasn't it?
It's like the only the 6 weeks of the year that you fucking, or the 8 weeks of the year that you like to pay for Disney Plus. It's when The Mandalorian's going on.
And even though it's 2 different properties, they're in the same house. So that's what makes it even worse when you have to compare.
We're all Targaryens here.
Is Favreau
dragon blood within us?
Is Favreau is he connected to Andor at all?
Andor?
Yeah,
No,
Favreau.
not at all.
Okay.
Not at
I was
all.
gonna. They almost
And
seems like he's.
That's answering you some stuff too, because Andor keep hearing is really good. Or
Yeah.
slow.
I haven't watched
but
it yet.
It's
I heard
still a
it's really
good
good.
burn. That's fine. I'm gonna watch it, but I'm gonna watch it the other way I watch stuff. I'm not paying for damn Disney Plus after this. I'm done. I am out until they say Mandalorian season 3. I'm like,
Yeah,
That's
whatever. You say
This one
that, but
gets
the next
2
show that we're
Bro.
going to be doing is fucking Secret Invasion. You'll be there.
I'll be there
That's
for
gonna
that.
be good.
Yeah, I know you'll
Yeah.
be there for that.
No.
understand.
You have to understand though. I'm gonna watch it my other way. I'm not. I will do this show to be like, wow, that's cool. But I'm gonna watch it in a couple days. That's how.
All right.
It's
So
almost
it's
like
if
they
you
set
want-
up.
My rating.
You got to give me a couple days of pirating capability.
Yeah, and then I will figure it out. But after that, no. But my rating for She-Hulk so far, okay, it diminishes every time I watch this. The fact I gotta wake up and the first thing I gotta do before I get coffee is watch this show. This is a 0.5 because last week was a 1. Last week was 1, so this is a 0.5. So hopefully you won't get me to 0. But we'll see. We'll figure it out.
Daredevil's
They're going to
coming.
bring Daredevil in for one episode.
Yeah.
We're all going to be like, 5 you digs.
That was the best. The whole season. It matters.
Yep.
All right. For me, I'm going 3. 3 you digs. This is what we're getting.
Yep.
A 3 you dig show. Not bad. Not great. Just kind of like Jelani says, mid. And mid will get you through. It's like sometimes you'd like to go out and get the $100 bottle of tequila and go out and get some really authentic Mexican cuisine. But sometimes you just got to take your date out to get Jose Cuervo and Taco Bell.
I prefer that.
But be careful about that and that combination.
Yeah, man.
So don't go, don't go
Fiery
too crazy.
explosive
Now, if you
diarrhea.
want to get really crazy, I'm just going to say this. Taco Bell's fine, but don't limit it to the extra value menu or whatever the fuck it is. And then take the Jose Cuervo, pump that up to at least Patron Silver.
There we go.
And you're
Now
a
we're
little bit
talking.
more classier. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Fucking
A little bit more
Hornitos.
classy. I just wish that She-Hulk would take us from Jose Cuervo to Patron. I'm not expecting Don Julio. I'm just expecting Patron. That's all.
We don't need
Because
Top
you're
Chef all the
Disney.
time.
You're Disney.
You're Disney.
Disney.
You're
Yeah,
you're
billions of
Disney.
dollars.
You're
Exactly.
giving me Wellington's fucking beef gin. I don't even know what the fuck that is, but it sounds like something that's legit. Our buddy Drew made a beef Wellington the other day.
Oh, that's
That made I've never had one, but I've seen it so many times on Hell's Kitchen. I want one so bad. I was like, Drew, why don't you invite me to your house? Your puff pastry wrapped around a medium rare piece of meat. Anyway, all right. So a 3 for me, and I cannot remember this right now. So everybody, shout out your rating when I say it. So a 3 for me, Manny.
3 with a question mark.
Oh yeah, with the question mark. Fable,
3.5.
Brooks,
4.
Steph,
3.5.
Jelani.
5.
Okay, that gives us a PCP average of 3.3. 69 dudes.
Finally.
All this needs to be a She-Hulk. All this needs to be a She-Hulk.
I don't know what I hit. I don't know what I hit. How do I stop it?
Oh Lord. Surprisingly, I think this may be the shortest episode so far that we've done here.
There we go. I got it.
We got 2 episodes left.
Thank goodness.
Next week is the penultimate episode, hopefully the Daredevil episode, because Manny's already got that thumbnail made. So let's hope, God damn it, that that's what it is.
We know they're saving Daredevil for the last episode. Let's be honest here, guys.
Meanwhile, what's coming up here on the show? What are the best comics of August, September 2022, y'all? Well, it's going to be answered by me, Brian from PCP, Manny from Tomorrow Cinema, Greg from Bearded Comic Bro, Nick from Comic Culture, and Jen from Comics Will Break Your Heart. Holy shit. First time we've had a 6-person panel in a long time. So that's going to be really cool.
Stacked.
And Brian's going to be like, why don't I get my own thing? Right? I'm like, because you're part of PCP, bro. Like, what the fuck? Brian, by the way, right now, I bet is like sweating, thinking about, he's like, what are we doing? Top 3? I was like, top 3 and rapid fire. And he's like freaking out about it right now. I guarantee you. That's tomorrow night at 7:30 p.m. Central Time.
Nice.
What are the best comics of August and September? I guarantee you I'm going to books. And then join us as Horror Fest is about halfway through, y'all. And join us Saturday night for Dylan's Horror Show, where we talk about dog soldiers, or as I like to call it, it's just Night of the Living Dead with werewolves. Pretty much all it is, but it's still a fun movie to talk about. And then Monday night, join us for the winner of the PCP Army Horror Fest movie poll. Green Room. This movie was pretty fun, man. I kind of liked Green Room. I guess I kind of like Dog Soldiers. We'll get into it. I don't know, man.
You got to watch it twice.
I don't know. I only watched it one time, but then I did watch like an hour-long documentary about it, and I was still like, I get it. But we'll get into it. So everybody, goddamn. Tomorrow night, what are the best comics of August and September? Join us. Saturday night, Dog Soldiers. And Monday night, Green Room. And Sunday night, we're doing a Rockin Robbie Live, but it's a special edition. We're doing a shorter version of Rockin Robbie Live, but we are doing the Memphis Comic Expo Haul and Report. I'll be showing you what I got signed, my experience there, and what it was like meeting Nick from Comic Culture yet again for 5 minutes and then never seeing him again. This is the tiniest con. Like, I don't know how I never saw him again that Saturday, except for they were serving beer. But we have lots of fun stories, lots of good stuff. 62 Lefty Blues loves them some Dog Soldiers. All right.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you all for being here. We're dipping out. And you know what? We're going to wrap it up with Horror Fest again, because I just love this thing I put together. Every movie reviewed on Horror Fest, except for Green Room, because it was the poll winner, is represented here. Just join us. Anyway, Dippin' Dots.